Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Magical Coffee Hour. Hope everyone is doing well. And happy Friday the 13th for those who are having as much fun as me. I've always enjoyed Friday the 13th. Um, so hopefully you all are having fun and enjoying Friday the 13th as well. Um, and I got to say, straight off the bat, I have been getting a lot of comments on the new Magical Coffee Hour schedule. A lot of people are loving it. More people can jump in and join in. Getting a chance to be here live, not just catch the replays, which is really awesome. So if you are here, if you are watching, be sure to give us the thumbs up. It helps with that pesky algorithm. And that goes true for here and on Rumble. We're live in both locations, even right now. So, yeah, helps us out a lot. Also, do remember, we do have the goal of trying to get to um, 50 active supporters on the regular over at locals. Um, because honestly, if we can hit 50, that takes us out from under any of the YouTube monetization umbrella problems. We don't have to worry about demonetization or anything if we can hit that goal and grow the community to there. Now, the community is quite large at locals. We don't have 50 active supporters because there's a free side and then there's the paid side. So um, that's if you wish to support us. When you do support us, we do monthly spell workings for the supporters. There's a lot of supporter only content. Just yesterday, we had a supporter only hangout. We dropped a Zoom call where supporters could get in there, just hang out, ask questions. It was a lot of fun. Um, we actually got into some pretty good conversations. I had a lot of fun myself. Lauren was there. He was actually doing some woodworking while he was on the call, which was good to see. By the way, Born, if you're watching this, I look forward to seeing how that project turns out. Um, so even Jade joined us on her commute home from work. So it was a lot of fun, a lot of fun. And we do workshops and classes that are supporter only. And there's no extra charge. Like the supporter fee just gets you straight into those classes for free. So it's a good value. All right. Now, with that said, and the announcement's over, did I miss any announcements? I don't think I missed any announcements. Anybody in the admin team, if you're here, Jade, if you're here, if I missed something, correct me on it. I think I got them all. All right, everyone, good to see you. Mortal, glad you could make it. Scripps, glad you could make it. Sheeta, glad you could make it. Art Dragon, welcome. Immortal, definitely join us next time, as we have a lot of good We especially in the those calls in the supporter area, whether it's just a supporter only live stream or whether it's the supporter hangouts, we get into some tremendously amazing conversations. And it's a lot of things that I can't talk about on YouTube because YouTube, right? So it's a lot of fun. Christo, welcome. Good to see you. So I got to say something because this has kind of been a really cool thing. Like usually, over the last few years, Friday the 13th rolls around, and I don't know. Maybe it's the metaphysical community is just losing its. Maybe it's getting older and calming down. I don't know. But I usually like get just spam of some of the most bullshit Friday the 13th stuff you've ever seen. Obviously, most of it has nothing to do with the old superstitions, that's always been cool. But just silliness. This year, haven't seen any of it. I think the silliest one I saw was, what was it? Leave milk and cookies for Jason Voorhees, which that one was actually pretty good. I actually had to hit the like on that one because that was pretty good. Um, and I constantly ask myself if I should ever do a live stream or a video on some of those superstitions where they originate from. By and large, I keep not doing it and don't ask today because I honestly don't have the notes. It's been a long week for me. It has been a really long week. I think it was yesterday, actually. I had everything figured out. I knew exactly what I was going to do. And then A whole new project just got dropped in my lap that had to get done yesterday. And I was exhausted. I'm still a little tired. You know how that goes. Life gets janky. But all in all, it's been a good week. Good week. So hopefully you all are having a good week. If you do have any questions, drop them in the comments below. Also, if you want to, say hi. Tell us where you're watching from. We enjoy that. Same thing over on Rumble. I see we have a few people on Rumble as well. Say hi there. Oh, that is one thing I forgot. Whether it's a tip over on Locals or Super Chat, any tips or Super Chats of $5 or more, you're entered into a spell working that I do every Monday for prosperity, well-being, health, luck, opportunities, all good kinds of blessings and stuff for you, for anyone who does a Super Chat or tip of $5 or more. And also, if you any Super Chat with or without question for $5, you get you into that. But if you do have a question, we're getting so busy and it's getting missed. If you feel up to it, you could drop $1. It'll still flash it up on my screen because we do get busy. So, and Immortal there dropped the link to the Locals page. Thank you, Immortal. And somebody said I haven't mentioned the online school in a while. I thought I did. But I don't know. I'm just going to take y'all's word for it. Do remember, we have an online school with online video courses. You can find that at workingdragonmystic.com. And just click the online school, take you over there. We got Dragon Magic 101, 102. I'm currently working on getting 103 out for those who have been waiting on it. There's also a tarot course, a meditation course, and I want to say there's one other. All very fairly priced, and we do actually have a free Arcane Census course. So yeah, now that's done. All right, so I'll open the floor for any questions if you all have them, as usual, for Magical Coffee Hour. One thing I will say while you guys are typing your question, Arc Dragon, thank you for the super chat, mate. Mugs up to you. I got an email. We discussed managing schedule and working long hours and stuff like that. And someone said, I basically said you're not allowed to have fun in life. And I was like, I didn't say that. I never said that. I do think that there is a balance, a work-life balance that people should achieve. I see on the internet that they claim Gen X has the best work-life balance of anyone out there. I don't know if I necessarily fully believe that, but maybe we do. I don't know. But there's because they're telling me that you can't do all these things. You can't build this and you can't and still have fun. To the individual who emailed me, I'm not going to name them, but I did email them back, and I'm going to tell them, I'm going to share with you all my response. And one of those things is one of the reasons I wish I had the tools that I have now, which we all have because everybody has a flipping phone anymore, and they're tools that are available largely for free, is because it was so easy to work harder and longer hours when I was younger, right? And I told my goddaughter this, and I will tell everyone I know this. Ask yourself when you're making a decision on what you want to do with your time, do you wish to sacrifice your long-term dreams for temporary fun, right? Because a lot of the things we do, they're just that. It's temporary fun, whether it's going out and partying, whatever it is. It's a single dose of dopamine. You're going out, you're having a good time, and you're accomplishing nothing. You're building nothing. But if you apply your time to building something, then you can actually work yourself to a long-term goal where you're no longer shackled to time. That's one of the reasons I've told my goddaughter very early on, start investing so that you can build something up. Work now, work well, put money aside, live below your means so that you can put more aside. That way, yes, you're going to be sacrificing some of the excess fun of your friends, but at the same time, let's see who gets when in life. And she's honestly poised to retire sooner than me. because she listened to me and she utilized the tools that are now available to anyone and everyone. So, not saying fun's a bad thing. Never said that. I like fun. I just schedule my fun accordingly. These days, I do different things for fun. I will sit down, I'll read. Usually, I'm not going to lie. When I read, I usually read something that builds me up. It teaches me something. I like reading philosophy and educational things that help build me up. Not going to lie about that. Leisure reading for me anymore is done via like Audibles or some other audio program where, I'll be honest, I'm listening to it while I'm doing something else. So I actually use my free time even now still for personal development, if you will. But that's not to say all that's done, because there are times I have set aside. Like I have a set aside time every week where I get together with friends, I hang out, we goof off, it's fun. In truth, we're playing D&D during that time, but we could use that time for other things as well. It's set aside. I do it every Saturday, and that's the time I do it. During the week, a lot of my free time and fun time, I might sit down and watch something funny on TV, but it's something quick. It's very measured. You just got to figure out where you're using your time. I'm not saying don't have fun, but I am saying think not only short-term, immediate gratification, but think long-term. Where are you going long-term? Consider that in your choices. And I think, honestly, this day and age, that's the real missing component. So many people have stopped thinking forward. I was talking to one guy. He said, "What good is thinking forward? Look at the political situation." Okay. And then I had another guy. "Well, what good's thinking forward? We're all going to die to nuclear war." He's definitely a woe is me type. Let's be honest. And my response to both these individuals was the same. You're correct. Everything can go to pot. No matter how good today is, everything goes to pot. I agree with you. The problem with planning for everything to go to pot in a mind of absolution is that the odds of it all going to pot are so low that if you're wrong, your future sucks. Quite literally, your future sucks. So you might want to consider making plans for if it don't all go to pot. Or many of you all know I love bushcraft and survival, right? I love it. So you would think I'm that crazy prepper guy, right? You'd think I'm that guy who thinks everything's going to... No, I love bushcraft for a few reasons. First off, I love the living off the land, the old skills that have been lost. And I do truly believe they've been lost. And because I truly believe if we shut the modern grid down, most people would just die because they don't know how to take care of themselves without the grid. But I think those skills are valuable. I think there's a wisdom to them. And I also think they help connect us to our environment in a way that we've completely lost. Completely. But it also puts a layer of assurance that, let's say everything goes to pot. Okay, I have a plan. I got skills to survive if it goes to pot. Now, just because I have those skills, does that mean I'm assuming it's going to pot and I'm not going to live in the modern world and I'm not going to consider a happy future? No, people, that seems crazy to me. Okay, I invest, I work, I do things, and I think forward to the future. Even earlier today, while I took a walk with my wife, we were discussing retirement. What does our retirement look like? Because seriously, y'all know I'm a workaholic. What does retirement for Drake look like? To be honest with you, I don't fully know. Like, I know like the fundage that I need to retire. But once I get there, what am I doing? What am I going to do? Honestly, I'll probably still be doing Working Dragon Mystic, just not all the other stuff. But because I enjoy this. This is kind of fun to me. So, we were discussing stuff like that. And One of the things that we discussed, I have dark humor. I'm not going to lie. I have a very dark humor. Anyone who's ever hung out with me without a filter, you're going to know I have dark humor. And I made the comment to her, like, I know that, everything, like if the economy just absolutely went ass over tea kettle, every investment I have is useless, but then every piece of paper that's called a dollar becomes toilet paper at best at that point. Also, that joke, that was a joke, but it had some seriousness to it because all that is worthless if it goes ass over tea kettle. But at the same time, what if it don't? What if it don't? I'm covered there too. Because can I technically build a shelter? Can I build a log cabin? Do I have those skills? Yes, I do. Does that mean I want to work from daylight till dark or after dark, constantly laboring to maintain my life? Not really. I really don't. As much as I enjoy being a hermit, I don't want to be out in the heat and cold and rain 24/7 just to survive. I don't want to do it. So don't mistake ever me saying, A, you shouldn't have fun. You should have fun. You should enjoy life. Yes, life is trying. Life is hard, people. It's really hard. But those hard spots are a chance to improve who you are and also teach you a lot about who we are. And honestly, some of the best lessons we could ever learn in our life is who we are. And I'm thankful for every bump in the road, every hardship I've ever had, because it's taught me something about myself. No matter how dark those days got, it taught me something truly profound about myself. That being said, I also state, just because I have skill sets that I do think they're important, I think we should remember. I think they should be taught more. I don't think they should be relegated to just the bushcraft community. But just because I think those skills are important for all people, does not mean that I want to just bust my hump 24/7 to survive and think that's the way I want to live my life. That's not. I mean, I like modern conveniences. I really do. They're kind of nice. I don't want the infrastructure to go down. But I'm one of those guys that I ask the what if. Look, my plan is on the road to happy, joy. Okay? That's my plan. That's the road I want to be on. If I get diverted, I want to have a plan for the diversion, just in case. Does that make sense, people? I hope that makes sense. Because I never said you can't have fun. Never said that. I'm a big pro fun guy. If I wasn't, my daddy'd come back and haunt me, because my daddy was a big fun guy. Like, he worked hard, but he loved to have fun. And I'm pretty sure he's where I get it, right? So, yeah, I never said don't have fun. I'm very pro hard work. I believe hard work's good for a person. It helps build character. But hard work does not mean the same thing for all people. Like, you don't have to be outside cracking rocks in the hot sun 24/7 to call it hard work. There's a lot of things that are differently hard work. Being a white collar executive can be hard work. Execs and stuff like that, they get people trying to crap all over them because all they do is sit at a desk and sign papers and they don't do any work. If they didn't do any work, people, they wouldn't be having heart attacks the way they do. It's a different strain. It's a different pain. It's a different hard, but it is hard work still. All right, let's see. We got a few comments in here that's popped up. Drake, I got into a magic discussion with a friend, and he asked me if magic can help someone in their dating life, because as far as I know, it really can't by theory, but maybe in practice it's different. So that's actually a good discussion. I love that discussion, actually. So by and large, it depends on how you apply it, right? If you're trying to force someone to date you, if you're trying to take free will, I've seen those spells work temporarily. The problem is, even when they work temporarily, eventually the person's will win. and they're very much aware that somebody put a whammy on them. And since they've been hugging and kissing on you, you just became public enemy number one. And honestly, most people, rightfully so, are not going to forgive you. Point blank. I know I wouldn't. I really would not forgive a person. I don't care if they thought it was in my best interest. I don't care if they thought it was in their best interest. I don't give a hoot. You tamper with free will, I have no respect for you, period. Now, so in that case, I would say absolutely not, don't touch it. However, could you do magic or a spell to draw potential partners to you to get your foot in the door so that you can represent yourself, put your best foot forward, put your best, get to know them? Yes, you can absolutely use magic to stack the deck to draw people to you so that they can get to know you organically, right? One of the hardest things is just getting in front of people most of the time. You can also use magic. Like, let's say you're really nervous. You could use magic to help boost your confidence and get over your nerves as well. So you can help, magic can definitely help in those areas. And you're not manipulating free will. You're just putting yourself in those positions where you have the opportunity to have those conversations to meet someone, right? And that's where magic can actually help in those situations. And truth be told, I've found it to be very effective in those situations, if that makes sense. Let's see. Not having that planned to say my whole life. Every time I got close to a goal, some self-entitled person just robbed me of everything. Different people, same crap. We don't all have the same rights. I don't know where you live. Here in America, everybody has the same rights. They absolutely have the same rights. And I've had a lot of people, go back and forth on this. And honestly, I used to work as an investigator, straight up. And I've had people come to me and say they were stolen from, it was illegal. Problem was, every bit of paperwork they signed, the person didn't do anything illegal. It was rare that something illegal was actually done. I'm not saying it doesn't happen, it does happen. But if it's a continual pattern, I'd start reading my paperwork closely. I really would. One thing the military taught my wife, I probably should have taught her, and she follows it to this day. I think she's more of a stickler than me, is read every sentence regardless. If someone's trying to rush you to sign something, don't sign it. And she does it. When we went and bought a car, I guess that was last year we bought my car. Even though they gave us a big old packet, she's page by page by page. So there you go. I would disagree that they aren't enforced equally. There is a lot of debates and a lot of arguments, especially in the political spectrum, but the Constitution is pretty straightforward. There is no rights in this country that one citizen does not have that the other citizens don't. Period. I have challenged people to show me a place where that's the case, and no one can. I'm a big constitutionalist, and every human being is equal in my eyes. Now, does that mean I believe in equal outcome? No, I do not believe in equal outcome. And my brother is probably the greatest teacher for why I don't believe in equal outcome. My brother, well, let's just say he did time in jail for a lot of things that I honestly have no issue with him going to jail for. Meanwhile, myself and my sisters, we have busted our asses hard to get to where we are, scrimping and scraping. And every time he's in trouble, someone bailed him out, mainly my grandfather, until my grandfather passed away. And yeah, should my brother have the exact same equal outcome as the other three siblings who worked their ass off? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. So I'm not equal outcome, I'm equal opportunity. He had all the exact same opportunities as the rest of us, the exact same opportunities, and he pissed them away. So let's see, Scribs. Lately, I've been experimenting with playing multiplayer video games / board games via communication with entities. I don't know if that's all right to try, though it would help practice communication skills. Um, I mean, I wouldn't do it via Ouija board or pendulums or stuff like that because, and I say me, notice I say me, because I don't trust those forms of communication. You cannot remove the ideomotor response from those communications. You can't remove it. In fact, my favorite thing to do is like absolutely destroy Ouija board pros. I've done it. Everyone who's said I couldn't, I did it. It's been so much fun. But and I know you wouldn't think a magician like me would take so much gratitude, um, enjoyment from that, but I do. Now, let's say you're using something like meditation or trance work, or even working in your astral sanctum or evocation, where you're not connected with that ideomotor response and you're playing these games. Um, I don't see an issue with it. I don't. Like when you say multiplayer video game, like in your sanctum, I can see how that works because you can literally put the video game system in the sanctum. Now, like if I was to log into um WoW or Final Fantasy 14, or those are right now the only two multiplayer video games coming to my brain. I do really, I find it to be highly unlikely that they're going to be able to manipulate an avatar due to the limited effects within the material realm and how much energy it actually takes for them to do that and play a video game. Same thing with Monopoly. Now, in Monopoly, they could have you tell you to roll the dice, tell you to move you can do the physical manipulation for them. But so in those cases, like whether it's chess, which I have played chess with entities, I absolutely love playing chess with entities. So, chess in the sanctum is usually how I do it. I usually do play chess in the sanctum with them. I've never tried the video game one, not going to lie about that one. But card games, chess, stuff like that, I've done. I do think that is an interesting exercise. And I think over the years, I've never used it as part of my training. Weirdly, it's just something I've done after, like, I use so many other things to train. But now that I think about it, and I may have mentioned this in the Arcane Senses course, even doing those activities in your sanctum is going to engage your senses. It's going to lock in and engage all those senses, and I think that's an amazing thing to do. That's why I recommend using the Arcane or the Astral Sanctums so much for training your senses, because they just engage all your senses like that. And yeah, I mean, playing video games and stuff, Scrimps, that's a pretty cool ideal. Of all the things I've done, I don't think I've ever tried video games. I'm that person. Like I had an Atari. Yes, I'm that old. I remember Frogger. I remember Space Invaders. I mean, we were there when the first Nintendos came out. So it's weird because like as video games were coming common mainstream, we're the generation that was playing them. But I've never viewed, I don't know, I've just never brought them into my Magic. I don't know. I guess that video games for me are a bit more of a step aside from other things I do. And there for a while, I just stopped playing them because I'll be honest, they stopped making good stories. Like I used to love a lot of the MMOs, or not MMOs at the time, it was just RPGs, because of the story. They would write amazing stories, and I'd play for the story and the challenge. And then, I guess it was around Final Fantasy 10 or 12-ish ballpark where like story and challenges went bombed. Like I found out I could not die during the final fight, Final Fantasy 10, and I was pissed. I was pissed beyond reason. And the story was so linear. That was the first Final Fantasy game I played through it once and stopped. I was just like, I'm done. And I dropped off from video games for a long time after that. I really did. So that might be my big thing, is the story and the challenge was only thing that really got me. And now I will say, like, millennials and Gen Zers, you guys like live and breathe video games in a way that I don't think my generation ever did. So it makes sense that you guys would try to incorporate it. And I think it's a good idea. I really do, Scrimps. I would encourage it. In fact, take some notes, right? Keep your notes on it, treat it like a full experiment. And I would love to hear how your experience with it goes. If you've already got notes and you've already had some results, feel free to share those. I'd love to hear them. I think it's a great one. Like I said, I use chess and other analog style games, poker, rook. So, I use those in the sanctum all the time for different entities. We'll play them while having conversations. So I honestly and truly in a sanctum, I don't see the difference in it really. Because I could totally see you and an entity playing Smash Brothers or something like that. Just like me and friends. Like I've gone over to a friend's house and they've had Smash Brothers. They're like, "Do you Smash?" I'm like, "I have no idea what I'm doing. Let's see what we can do." And even not knowing what you're doing, it's fun. Let's see here. Seti, any tips on going carnivore on cheap? I have to try it for stubborn Canada, as I haven't been able to fix that vegan. I'm not thrilled, but have no choice. Can still eat a few veggies. Well, if you want to go carnivore, veggies are the enemy. I'm not going to lie. But if you're saying you can mostly carnivore and work in a few veggies, that's fine. Like, see, I try to eat all meat all week, but like tomorrow, I'm looking at possibly doing a beef and cabbage stew. So when I do work in veggies, I go a little more keto, but otherwise, But you asked about the cheap. So yeah, you can actually do it very cheap. The first thing I'd look at is 80-20 ground beef. Okay. Don't go lean and don't get organic. Don't worry about grass fed. The micronutrient differential is so minor, it's pointless in all honesty. And you're going to pay $3 and $4 a pound extra because it's a fad. Okay. In truth, it's a fad. So just go to your local Walmart, your local Safeway, your local Kroger, your local wherever it is you shop, right? And look for 80-20 ground beef. Hands down, a pound of ground beef would make a great meal. And you can easily fry that up. Now, when you do fry it on a medium to low heat. A lot of people like to crank it and fry it fast. Don't fry the bejesus out of your ground beef. Seriously, fry it till the whole pan just turns brown and stop. It will have so much better flavor. You just don't know. And don't drain it because all that fat in there is going to be one of the things that's going to help heal your body. All your hormones, all your body needs the fat for all the hormones, all the white blood cells, all those healing things your body does. It needs the building blocks, which is the protein and the fats. So don't drain it. But ground beef is your friend. It is one of the cheapest ones to do. Okay, that's tip 1. Tip 2, chuck roast. So you can go to most grocery stores right now and find chuck roast for around $5 a pound. So you could get a good 3 to 4 pound chuck roast for usually anywhere from $12 to $16. Most people use these as pot roasts. What I would recommend doing, get you a cheap, and I do mean cheap, like a $14 probe thermometer that you can stick in this thing. Slide it in the oven, set your oven for 200. Set that thermometer for rare. A lot of the cheap ones will tell you rare is 140. Technically, culinarily speaking, I know rare is 125. But with a chuck roast, it doesn't matter. Put it in at 200 and let it climb to 140. Once that beeps, pull that sucker out. All you want to put on it is some salt. Salt it on both sides. Don't get cheap. Salt's good for you. Let it rest. And you can now slice this thing. Since you cooked it slow in the oven, it's going to be tender. A lot of the connective tissue that makes chuck tougher is going to render out a lot of that nice gelatin, and everything's going to soak into the meat. And you're going to end up with a very, very, very flavorful beef that is also tender. Now, is it as tender as a ribeye? No, but it's also dirt cheap. And when you're talking you can't go to McDonald's for that price. You really can't. And that piece of meat can get you 3 meals. So there you go, $15, 3 meals. So it's on par with ground beef, only you can actually treat it similar to like steak bites and stuff. Those are some of my go-tos. If you like sardines, chicken of the sea in water sardines are a great, nice little on-the-go snack. I keep those in my bag constantly, especially when I'm on the go. When I'm going camping, I will have sardines with me too. You can also, if you have a dehydrator, you can take your ground beef, flatten it out nice and thin, and you can actually dehydrate ground beef sheets into jerky. So I would focus on those. Beef is going to be the best meat for you. It's got the highest nutrient value. So you want beef to be your go-to. Also, eggs. Eggs are a super food. They have so many vitamins, minerals in them. So beef and eggs, those are your two primaries. Real butter, not margarine, not canola oil. Look at the packet. It should say heavy cream and salt. They should have 2 ingredients in it. That's it. If there's anything else in it, it's not real butter. But get real butter. And honestly, those are your cheapest foods right there. If you enjoy bacon, bacon can be added to it, but bacon's not cheap. If you want to make bacon cheaper, when you fry it, save the grease. Save every bit of the grease. Put that in a mason jar because you can use that to fry eggs. You can use that to fry steaks. You can use that. You use it so you're getting 2 products that does lower the cost. And honestly, I would recommend doing your bacon in the oven. Put it in a casserole dish on some foil. Set the oven for about 325. Every oven's a little different, so you have to play with it. But start at 325 is usually a good number. Let it go for about 25 minutes. At this point, you start checking it. You just let it coast up to the crispiness you like. Okay, because it's very easy to control it by watching it now. And once you dial it in, you got your temperature, you got your time, you can perfectly do your bacon every time. And you're also rendering the bacon fat into that foil. So you just remove the bacon, put it on a plate, tip that casserole dish, drain all that bacon grease into your little mason jar. Booyah. Save you some money that way also. That's what I would do. Actually, that's what I do, quite literally. But ground beef is one of your cheapest, most nutritious options. I can try and do some more videos on stuff like that if y'all want. Like, Wednesday, I bought an entire chuck roll roast, an entire strip loin primal. I actually chopped up the strip loin into New York strip steaks to put in the freezer because it's cheaper to buy the large primal than buying it cut. So I cut my own steaks, save a whole hell of a lot of money that way. But I answered your question from the common man. Most people's going to go in, they're going to buy a pack of hamburger, they're going to buy a single pot roast, something like that. But if you have access to a Costco or a Sam's Club and you can buy the primals, I can do a video and show you what I mean by those as well. And good luck. Good luck. I mean, I have never felt better than when I was on carnivore. I really have not. Let's see. Alex 22. Happy Friday 13th to you too. Mugs up to you. Friday 13th's always been a good day for me. Always. Even before I got into the occult. I honestly think it's just superstition. I really do. And a lot of the superstition, like, it's a day. It literally is just a day. And if you take away the man-made calendar, there is no Friday the 13th. Quite literally. You have to have a calendar in order to have Friday the 13th. And you have to have a wonky calendar, I believe. Because if we actually just gave all months the exact same number of days, I want to say it's like 30 or 31, you could start every month. Every month would just line up perfectly. but we don't. So, I mean, it's a man made concept. It really is. Now, do I think superstitions have power? Absolutely. A superstition, if you believe it, is just like cursing yourself. Because if you convince yourself it's going to be a bad day, if you convince yourself you're going to have bad luck, newsflash, you will. That that's just the power of mental focus. I mean, anyone who believes in magic that you can manifest something, if you spend your whole day worrying about it or your whole life worrying about it, depending on the superstition, you can very easily manifest that. So there is power to superstition, but it starts with you. It doesn't start because the sun came up on a man-made calendar day. Now, the myths and superstitions, do they come from different places? Yes. One of them being, the Knights Templar, stuff like that. But ultimately, it's just another day. I wouldn't worry about it. I enjoy it. Like I said, I've noticed a trend. I usually have good days on Friday the 13th. Why? I don't know. Honestly, one of my friends pointed out that it was a great day. I enjoyed it because all my siblings are very superstitious. Naturally, me loving science and my brain being wired that direction, I'm not a superstitious guy as badly. So it was a great time for me to pick on my older siblings because I'm the baby. So I did. And because of that Friday the 13th, was it a lucky day? I don't know if it's ever lucky per se. It seems to be these days, but at least when I was a kid, it was just fun. It was like a free Halloween because it's a free day to just torment my siblings using their own superstitions. So beyond that, no, I don't really put anything into superstitions personally. Good question though. Let's see. Yeah, this game of life game and old on my old PlayStation 1, and I pick out the choices for the entities I work with. I mean, that could work. That could. I've never played the game of life. I've played the game of life like on board game. I don't know if I ever knew they had it on PlayStation. That's kind of cool. Me and my friends used to hang out, make fun of each other, insult each other, and play board games all the time. Though they quit playing Monopoly with me, they're like, they my everyone hates playing Monopoly with me because I can be cutthroat and I'm good at it. So let's see what we got here. Let's see, Bo Gurman, how possible is that some of these games represent a real experience on some other level of consciousness? How, Drake, have you been feeling on Carnivore? I've been feeling freaking fantastic on Carnivore. I really have. The only time my energy plummets, the only time I feel bad is when I go off it. That's why anymore, if I have a day where I want something other than just pure carnivore, it's ketovore. It really is. I've literally lost my desire for carbohydrates. I've just they make me feel awful. The smallest bit of carbohydrates I eat or sugar, every bit of joint pain I used to have comes back for at least 48 hours. And for the first time in my life that I can remember, carnivore's been the one time I've been pain free. And when I say pain free, I mean it. Like I would get up and walking through the house, I sound like Rice Krispies. My joints were so stiff. It's been a massive difference for me. Um, and how possible do I think video games are a real experience on some other level of consciousness? I'm iffy on that. I come from obviously the Matrix generation for sure. And I don't know. I mean, you got in the laws of magic, you got the concept of the law of infinite universes, where in theory or probability, something's true in some universe out there somewheres due to the infinite expansive. Um, and I get that concept, I get that theory. So it depends on how you mean it. But by and large, I don't think of video games as anything more than a game. I really don't. Um, they're no more real than that stuffed animal sitting on the bookshelf over there to me. Do they have a value? They can, but they can also they can be stripped of all the value. They can be good for a person, they can be harmful for a person. It's a tool like anything else. It's one that I've had conversations with people on that, and there's a lot of people who think that, the video game world's real somewhere, and even the avatar, you're actually controlling another person's life when you play a video game in some way. And when I asked them, I was like, "So do you think we're in a video game right now and somebody's got a controller?" And they was like, "Yeah." And I was like, I can't. That for me just doesn't float, because there's too much about free will in the multiverse for that to float. And that literally strips free will and choice. So, yeah, I'm iffy on that one. I got no issues with people who follow those philosophies or think about them, meditate on them. Like I said, I've spent plenty of times talking about them. Let's see. Actually, what is the most impressive paranormal experience, ghost hunting, or doing magic that you have? Um, okay, paranormal one, I don't know. That one's tricky. However, to this day, to date, I know what there's one thing that's happened in my practice, and it happened twice in two different ways, and it was during one of my deep, deep dragon magic path workings. And I can show you the results. So you all have seen this before. This is my dragon magic staff. Everyone's seen this before, right? See this gray color on here? This gray color used to cover the entire staff from top to bottom. In fact, if you look at the bottom, you can see I did a piss poor job of putting that stain on there to the point it's down on the cap. Okay? You got that? The reason it now looks like this is during a ritual. It was during one of the Dragon Magic 104 rituals. The heat in the room and the energy got really, really, really high. And I actually thought I was going to pass out and collapse again, but I didn't. And when it was done, I was sweating. Everything was fine and dandy. And when I looked over, this had what looked like to me as a white ash. That's the best way I could describe what I was seeing. And I didn't want to touch it at first, but I just kind of did that. And when I did, that stain just fell off. And this is what remained of it. So I did have to get a cloth and finish wiping. It didn't all just perfectly fall off, but it did just kind of. And I was working inside in the house in a ritual room, and I, to this day, have no explanation for that. I have no scientific explanation for that, and I couldn't reproduce it if I tried, because I have tried to reproduce it consciously to figure out what the flip happened. I have no explanations. I've talked with a few people in the science community, and one of them just thought I was full of shit. The others know me and have known me for many years, so they knew I wouldn't just be yanking their chain for no reason, and I wouldn't be wasting their time, and I wouldn't be that concerned. That is definitely, to me, that is one of the craziest what the F's in metaphysical career. Now, the reason I can say it happened twice, I actually have two staffs for two different purposes. We won't discuss the purpose of this staff, but any visitor who's ever come to my house, the last thing they ever want to touch is this. And it's not because I tell them not to, it's because they seriously just don't want to touch it. They won't be in the same room with it. This staff was also used during the same rituals, actually, just to different focus for those particular rituals. This is not technically a dragon staff. This, however, was completely stained a glossy, gorgeous ebony black. And after the ritual, like the texture on this thing, like there was no ash. It after the ritual, it just looked like this. It looked like somebody stuck it in a fire. And it's not smooth. This actually has a texture to it. That one's very, very smooth. This one's all textury. And I still have no explanation. Is the tip of it? Yeah. So the tip of it, if I can get the camera, you can see the tip has that glossiness. Like that is how deep black that it used to be. I have no idea what happened. None. Nada. Zero zilch. And that was 4 or 6 years ago. Hasn't happened since. So I have no concept, no idea. I spent 3 or 4 years trying to figure out what happened, and I never found even close to a good theory or hypothesis. So for me, those two instances, those are the biggest ones because they completely bake my noodle because they are a physical manifestation of I don't know what, but something freaking happened. And I have no explanation for it. Let's see. Immortal Irish Gold is my real butter go-to. It's good stuff. It is. Where I go right now, we shop at the military commissary. And they have their own brand of butter, but it's clean ingredients. So I've been buying that. I'll admit Irish Gold's my go-to, but honestly, for some reason, it's hard to find in this area. So I'm glad that just check it. You can find clean butter. Let's see. Chronicles is set raw, dressing all in black like that. I'm no fucking omen. I'm just some old crazy redneck who happens to be wearing black today. I got green shirts. I got red shirts. I like black. Hell, I've even told the community why I started wearing so much. It was literally an FU to my mom and my sisters growing up. Because no matter what I put on, they bitched and complained about it. Like I could even wear an outfit 1 week that they told me to wear last week, and they'd still tell me something was wrong with it, even though they're the ones that fucking put it together to begin with. And they're always like, it don't match. It's not the same color. That don't match, blah, blah. They always had some critique. So as soon as I got a job, to be a smartass, because it's in my nature, I literally went to Walmart, bought four black Dickie shirts, 4 black pants, pack of black socks, took everything else in my closet out, put that in there, and they could not say I didn't match ever again. And when they was like, why do you wear black? I told them. And they're just like, seriously? And I was like, yep. And that's what I did. And then as I moved into other career paths, black just had a professional look to it, so it worked out nicely. So, yeah. But now I buy a lot of these Henleys, and I buy them by the pack, so I have red, gray, green. I love my green ones. I also got some purple. I think I look good in purple. But I also like my dark green. I think I look really good in that dark green. Bornoldus, he got struck by lightning. Dude, yes, I did. That shit ain't funny, man. Like, I've been indirectly struck by lightning 3 or 4 times in my life. I guess it's 5 now because I keep forgetting. Like, some of you were there, literally. Like, we were on is Discord. We were on a Discord call at the time. We were all chatting, having a big old time. And suddenly, like, my earpiece just went screaming. I was screaming because, I mean, it was awful. And, like, by the time I got the earpiece out and looked at it, this thing had freaking melted. And, you know, I'm trying to replace them, trying to find another headset or something. The port on my computer completely fried, so I couldn't even plug in another one. It completely fried that too. Didn't kill the computer, luckily. But I actually eventually had to get back in there, and I was like, I'm sorry about that, guys. I'm sorry if y'all heard me screaming or anything. They never heard a thing. But I also found out that most of the electronic devices in my house just completely fried that day. And it was storming. And I had one guy, he's like, I think you and your house got struck by lightning, which that wouldn't be a first time for me, but at the same time, it's just like, damn. Like, I want to say, Born, weren't you one of the ones that wanted to see the headpiece? Like, I went and dug it out of the garbage and took the picture so you could see the thing. Because, it melted. It was bad. I don't know if that was paranormal or metaphysical. I think that was just wrong place, wrong time. I think. You guys could possibly chalk it up to paranormal or something. I'll leave that one to you. That's just, I got shitty luck with electricity and lightning. That's just where I'm going to put it. Oh, though if I don't die by lightning, I'll count that as a success in life because I've had such shitty luck with lightning. And you'd think because of this, I hate storms, but I don't. I freaking love them. Rainbow Workers. Hey, Drake, glad I made it in time. Yeah, I'm glad you made it too. Glad you can make it. I think a lot of people are enjoying the new schedule. More people can pop in and join us on a regular. Plus, it's a great way to start the weekend with some questions, some fun. Stories about me getting hurt. Do I know any celebs or artists who work with dragons? I know a few artists. Like, they're not famous artists, but I know a few artists. Like celebrities, I don't think I know any celebrities. I knew a few. Or, well, I can't even say I knew a few. It's like I met a few. I doubt they even remember who the flip I am. So, no, I can't think of any that I know for sure work with dragons because I do not rub elbows with the high society, as it might be. Nope. Sorry. I'm definitely not one in that circle that I can say. Like, I've met celebrities, which were pretty cool. Like, I've met Bocephus before. Grant you, at the time I first met Bocephus, I had no fucking clue who he was. We were just at an old honky tonk down in Tennessee, and my dad was going gaga and like super excited. I thought it was one of his friends that, my dad was a trucker, so he knew a lot of people. And he invited us to sit down, have some drinks, and order a sandwich. And I was just like, okay. So I'm sitting there eating a sandwich. They're talking music, which my dad talked music with everybody. So I didn't realize anything was happening. And yeah, I found out years later that was Hank Jr. So there you go with that one. Yeah. So yeah, I've bumped into a few celebrities in my life, but I did meet Chuck Norris down in Texas once. He very, very down to earth. I actually enjoyed that one. Let's see. Also met Adrian Paul once, but as far as knowing anything about their life, their practice, I don't know. I just met them. I don't follow celebrities much. I really don't give a rat's. Like, the fact that people make life decisions based on celebrities just feels so stupid to me. Let's see. Karma, when doing magic, how do you know it isn't a placebo effect? When doing self-improvement spells, example, spell for confidence or weight loss, etc. I did a video, is magic real or not? And I kind of go over this because here's ultimately the thing. If you're doing magic, you are trying to manifest a result. Do we know how that result manifests? Actually, we don't. No, we don't. But we do understand placebo effects, and do they work? Yes, they do. So here's my thing. If I'm putting in some time and effort to manifest a result, and I'm getting the results, I don't really care. I really don't. That's why I track data the way I tracked it. I am result driven, right? I am results driven. So is my weight loss, my getting in shape, my health improvements, and using magic to speed those results up, Is that placebo? Maybe. Do I care? Not really. I have a goal. I'm working to get to it. Building my finances and my wealth from being in the red and living in the red to where I'm at today. I use magic to get there. If it was a placebo effect that helped me to make better decisions, I'm okay with that. Again, I'm not a spiritual person. I've said on this channel many a times, I'm a faithless son of a bitch. I'm driven by the science. I'm driven by the data points. And that first year, when I sat down to really apply magic to my life and track it in my journal and measure the success or failure of it, I was entirely motivated by the fact that I was going to prove this shit don't work. It's a waste of time. And it was literally me proving it to myself it's a waste of time because I was about to toss it all in the garbage, point blank. That's why I did it. I've said that on this channel before. But it yielded results. And that fueled my curiosity and that fueled my research. And if you check out my video on our entities, subconscious or real, I talk in there that originally when I was practicing, I viewed all entities as a portion of our subconscious. I absolutely did, because that was what made sense to me. At the same time, in that same video, I admit that now at this point in my magical career with my experiences, I've shifted my view. I wholeheartedly am definitely on the side that these entities are external and real. But at the same time, I don't knock anyone who views them as subconscious either, because they may not have had those same experiences. So for me, it doesn't really matter. What matters is the results and the progress. And, you know, am I living a good life? Am I building the life I want to live? Am I being of use to my community in the way I would like to be? If the answer to those questions is yes, the rest of it's all just icing. It doesn't matter. And I know that may not be the answer a lot of people want, but in truth, when I apply the nuts and bolts and the science, I'm putting a result forward. If I was doing it for anything other than that, I don't see a reason for it. I'm not spiritual in any way. Yeah, that's the best answer I can give. Alex222. Again, I got this. I need to mute this before I go live for you, Alex222, so I can actually say your name. Do I eat liver? You've been told it's a superfood. Liver is actually very, very nutritious. And as a good Southern boy, yes, I eat liver. Chicken liver is actually one of my wife's favorite foods. She absolutely loves them. Cooked right liver is amazing. Cooked wrong liver can be bleh. But yeah, I eat liver. Got no issues with liver. You're talking to a guy who has had Rocky Mountain oysters. So, and I knew what they were. And I can honestly say they're pretty damn good if you can get past what they are. So, you know. See, Rainbow Workers, I have a hypothesis. The cultists are more prone to lightning strikes because the energy body vortex. You know, I've heard people discuss that. I really have. And it's kind of interesting. Like, I don't know. Like, I screw up like electronics. That's something I've also talked about on this channel. One reason I didn't want to get a digital watch is I thought I'd fry it. So I've always worn some form of analog watch. So I never got a smartwatch. And I'm surprised like, I can't own Apple products, point blank. My friends won't even bring Apple products in the house anymore because they stopped working. I don't know what it is with me and Apple products. They hate me. I'm not going to claim it's any magical woo-woo, anything like that. I don't know why shit go cray-cray around me. That's all. It goes cray-cray. I don't care. My wife will tell me to take 2 steps back at the grocery store because the card reader ain't working, and boom, it starts working. Okay, that's just the life I live. I'm okay with that, whatever that may be. Funny thing, though, Wednesday I had to see my neurologist. They took my blood pressure. Well, according to my neurologist, I should be going to the ER because my blood pressure is so freaking high. And I was like, well, that ain't right. My whole life, I've had amazingly good blood pressure. Like, for as stressful as my life is, my blood pressure has always been really, really healthy. And I'm proud of that because everyone else in my family, their blood pressure is crap, right? So I'm happy. Ha. So I asked him point blank, I was like, can we test that again? And he's like, yeah. And he's like, we're testing it. He's like, because I need to know if I need to send you to the ER. That's when I found out the number was so high. And they rolled the little thing in there again. And it occurred to me they used the digital machine, right? The digital machine. And I made the comment, I was like, it could be the machine because at the Navy hospital, they took my blood pressure like 8 times because according to them, I should have been going into cardiac arrest. It was so bad. And it didn't come out right until they used the analog. And he's like, well, if this doesn't work, he's like, we'll do it the old-fashioned way. And luckily, it worked that time, so it was fine. But I did make the comment that, new doctor, I've seen him like twice since we moved. But, I made the joke. I was like, technology hates me. It goes wonky every time I'm around it. This guy turns around and is like, did you grow up in an area with wells? I was like, yeah, both my grandparents had wells. We drank well water. He's like, well water has a lot of iron in it. I half think he was joking because I don't think that has anything to do with that. I really don't. But yeah, it's just one of those things. I don't know. I don't jump into mystical land when something happens. I don't jump there first. I never assume that. I honestly think lightning is just bad luck. I think computer technology, again, that's just one of those things. I've fought with computers my whole life. I'm good with them. I've always been good with them when I apply myself. But when me and my wife was dating, like she was on the phone with me while I was cussing at the computer because I just did an entire research paper. Now the printer's not working. And me being the calm, collective, wise young man that I was, got frustrated and threw a 5-pound steel-toed combat boot at it, and it spit my paper out. So it could be the metaphysical side because I know plenty of people who's done some research in the metaphysical community, and it seems the better a magician gets, the more electronics get wonky around them. But at the exact same time, there are extremely powerful magicians that have no effect on technology at all. Most of these people are referred to as techno witches or techno mages and stuff like that. Like they can do amazing things magically around technology that I can't do it. So it can't just be the energy vortex around us. There's something else there if it is the ethereal energy around us. If there's something else there. Otherwise, techno witches wouldn't exist. Not something I want to dump research into, though I keep up with my friends who research it because if they ever figure it out, I want to know so I can stop frying computers. As it is, I have 2 laptops right here, right now, because and they're not expensive because I fully expect to fry any piece of equipment on my desk. And since I now work a digital working dragon mystic thing, I have to have a computer. I can't just fall back default to pen and paper. So yeah, interesting little. It's just one of those interesting things about magic and life that, to me, it's what makes it fun and interesting, keeps it going. Let's see here. So I agree with you on the placebo comment. Yeah, like I said, if it's placebo, great. If it's something else, great. If it's working, it's working. I don't care. That's why when people's like, do what happens if it's working and I'm doing it this way and the book says I shouldn't do it this way. Screw the book. Is your practice working for you and your goals? If the answer is yes, as long as you're not harming any other person in the process, I don't give a shit. I'll support you all the way. Let's see. Let's see. You like apple pie? Where'd that come from? I don't remember talking about pie. I mean, apple pie is good. Not gonna lie. Not one of the foods I can handle these days. I don't know if my body will ever heal to the point where I can have things like that on the regular again. I don't know. So let's see. Kira Grace, welcome. Rainbow Orchestra, what kind of music do dragons like? From my experience, they're like us. They all have their own preferences and likes. They're not one. They're not stuck in one genre or category. So they're just as widespread as we are. See, now that you mention it, I need to research techno witches. It seems interesting. It is, and I mean, like, there's different flavors of them. Like, some of them are just their practice is very technological based. I've seen people who their entire practice is built on what's that life thing? Second life. Like their entire coven and rituals and everything, they do them in Second Life. I don't know how. It don't make sense to me, but screw it. Again, if they're getting results, I don't give a shit. And then you got ones who like they're really like they can freaking understand computers at like a contact level. Like I know some of them who are in their mechanics or they do work with computers. They can walk over, they can touch the car, they can touch the computer, and the same way I would scry to locate an object or something, they're just like listening to the car. And the car gives them the location of the problem, and they can just go whoop straight in there and get it. And these are also the same people. It's quite annoying, but you know, like I've seen professionals not be able to get a computer working. They walk over, and the guy's like, "It won't even turn on." They reach over, push the button, that some bitch fires up, and it's working just fine for the next 5 years. It's like I don't know how they do it. So you got different flavors of them. Pretty handy. Some of those techniques and everything, I would say magicians can learn. Some of them would be harder because, like, obviously, somebody like me, the more energy I put toward tech, the more I screw it up. That's why, whatever it is that causes me to screw up tech, if anyone ever figured it out, I'd be game to find out. Because if I could use meditation or anything like that to tweak it so I no longer screw up technology, that would be amazing. It'd save me a hell of a lot of money. And me and technology might have a better relationship. Oh, I'm getting clocks thrown at me. Is that it? Is that it's past that time? I've been rambling a lot. Let's see. Let's see. I once fixed a refrigerator by getting mad and kicking it. I mean, that sounds like me throwing a boot. Like, I'll be honest, my generation, we smack TVs and everything. Like, physical violence to household appliances was pretty standard, and oftentimes it worked. And honestly, refrigerators is one of them. Not as useful this day and age because instead of like heavy mechanical parts, a lot of it has computers and you can knock shit loose that you shouldn't be knocking loose. Not to say I haven't been known to smack a refrigerator or two still, but you know, yeah, it works. Just like the phone, yeah, just like hit that jukebox. The phones grew up on the phones. Not something you hear a lot about these days. Let's see. Yeah, he elbowed it or slapped it, just like tapped it on the top. I mean, it was pretty good. Yep, see, classic way to get your TV working. I think everybody's daddy smacked the TV, at least in our generation. All right, everybody, I'm going to get off here. This has been a lot of fun tonight. A lot of good questions and conversations. Hopefully, you guys had fun, and I will definitely be seeing you all. I think Monday is going to be our next MCH. I'll see you then. Have a fantastic weekend if you can. Try and have some fun. Keep it safe. Don't do anything too stupid. I won't tell you to do anything I wouldn't do because I do a lot of dumb stuff. Try and stay as safe as possible, everybody. All right. Take care and good night.